What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about the rebuttal that Dwayne Wade gave to his wife Gabrielle Union's interview, where she mentioned that she is basically in a 50-50 relationship, financially speaking. And before I get into this video, I'm going to give a disclaimer, and that disclaimer is that everyone sets the criteria for his or her individual relationships. What works for one person may not work for another person. What works for one situation may not work for another situation, etc. Ultimately, people have to have a relationship in which the setup of it works for them. So, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into this. So, Dwayne Wade went on to Shannon Sharpe's podcast show called Club Shay Shay. And a quick sidebar, am I just being, a little immature? Or a little behind on the times? Or am I missing some sort of a backstory? And I'm referring to the name of the podcast show, Club Shay Shay. Is it just me, or does the name sound, a little, how you doing? At least, in this particular situation, as this being, Shannon Sharpe's show. Let me know in the comments section below. Right. So, Dwayne Wade went on to Shannon Sharpe's podcast show, and he more or less gave a rebuttal and a follow-up to Gabrielle Union and her mentioning that she goes 50-50. And basically, it just seems like, I don't know, it just came off more so as if he was just saying, yeah, we go 50-50. Versus, oh, well, it's not really 50-50 like that. And it sounds like they both have other households that they have to support. I know Dwayne Wade has like a child outside of his marriage with Gabrielle Union. And I'm not referring to the children that he had before he got with Gabrielle Union. I'm talking about the child that he had when they were on a break, whatever you want to call it. So, the money that he earns, at least, some of it, or a portion of it at least, is going to that household. And also, he mentioned that Gabrielle Union has to support like her parents and her sisters. Her parents, okay, I'm not sure about her sisters, but, ultimately that's not my business. So, I can understand Dwayne wanting Gabrielle Union to perhaps take care of the finances regarding her family. Just as I'm sure Gabrielle Union wants Dwayne Wade to take care of the finances regarding his extramarital affair child. But during the interview, Shannon Sharpe, during the interview that Dwayne Wade had with Shannon Sharpe, it got to a point where Dwayne had mentioned that I think him and Gabrielle Union were having some sort of a dispute, some sort of a couple's dispute perhaps. And during the dispute, he had said that this is his house, right? Which, legally speaking, he is probably right. It is his house because he's paid for it and his name is on the deed. and only his name is on the deed. I'm not sure of the situation if he had that house before he met Gabrielle Union and they moved in together and got married and all that stuff, or if he bought it like once they got married and then he bought the house. But he said that this is his house. And I'm trying to give a little bit of grace here, okay? I'm trying to give a little bit of grace here. Of course, we don't know all the details that led up to that comment. We don't. Maybe Gabrielle Union was getting out of line. Maybe she was, really saying some foul stuff. Gabrielle Union does have the reputation of being, a Hollywood mean girl. So maybe, perhaps it might have been necessary for him to say something like that to Gabrielle Union. But when she said that, when Dwayne Wade said, "This is my house," Gabrielle Union responded, "Next house, I'm putting 50 down on it. I'm paying 50%. And seemingly that's how it went with the next house they moved into. Now, I was looking at the comment section of some videos that spoke about this, and some of the women in the comment section, the black women in the comment section, some of them were like, that would have been my cue to leave. Now, I'm not sure what Gabrielle Union puts into the household, but I'm assuming, she's playing stepmom to the children, right? Since I believe Dwayne Wade has full custody of the kids, actually, for some reason. And as well, I'm sure she's doing other, household things that are typical of, women who are married, perhaps. Basically, I feel like she probably has put into the household that Dwayne Wade owns, or at least owned at that time. Personally, she had a few choices. She could go 50-50 like she did. She could leave, or either her and Dwayne just need to really sit down and have a long conversation about the terms of their marriage and make sure that verbiage like that never comes up again. Because, I'm sure Gabrielle Union hearing something like that, it probably wasn't the most comforting thing to hear. And many people speculated, particularly in the comment section, that it may have ended up kind of scaring Gabrielle Union in a way and making her feel not secure. And people feel like it may have put her into like fight or flight mode, right? And Gabrielle Union, she decided to stick it out. She decided to thug it out and fight for her marriage, fight for her black king, ride or die for her black king. And if you ain't willing to do none of that, then you don't deserve a black king. Yeah, I said it. I'm joking, but seriously though, back to the topic at hand. Also, during the podcast, Shannon Sharpe and his, workers backstage or off camera or whatever, they're eating it up. They're loving it. They're laughing, ha ha, and he and kiki shay. Because you may or may not remember, but not too long ago, a moment ago though, Shannon Sharpe, he actually came out and he was like, oh, in his next relationship, he wants the woman to bring something to the table. Because I'm guessing he probably got tired of funding Rebecca's lifestyle. The woman that he was with for like 10 years before they ended up breaking up for whatever reason. And in that video, because I did a video about that, and I'll put a link to that video in the description box below if you're interested in watching that video and listening to my commentary. But in that video, I mentioned that Shannon Sharpe, I feel like because of what he wants women to bring something to the table now, I feel like he may end up getting with a black woman. A black woman, whether she is on the lighter end of the skin tone spectrum or the darker end of the skin tone spectrum. Because I feel like black women with black men are more open to a situation like that versus non-black women and black men. Especially like white women. Let's just for a minute think about it. Let's think about some white women who are considered to be like top tier white women within their community. Like say Ivanka Trump, Scarlett Johansson, Mila Kunis, etc. Do you really think that those women, if they were to even consider black men, do you think they would be in a situation where they would be going 50-50 with a black man who has money too? Which, by the way, I feel like if they were to get with black men, the black man would have to be extremely exceptional. Like probably on some like billionaire status. And she would not be in interviews talking about how she goes 50-50 with him. I just don't see that. It's possible, but I just don't see that. Basically, in so many words, it has to be worthwhile for Rebecca, as well as Selena and Kim Woo, if they are to come through. But hey, I hope Shannon Sharpe finds what he's looking for, though. But back to topic, though. So Dwayne Wade also mentioned that basically, Gabrielle Union ain't going to be stacking her money while he's paying for everything. So, that's why the 50-50, right? You ain't going to be stacking your money. Well, she can still stack her money. I'm sure she's not living paycheck to paycheck, I hope. And she's married to a dude that's worth $140 million. I really hope that's not the case. But the way that she sounded in that interview that she did, it did kind of come off as if this could be like a woman, like, a regular woman on Main Street, working a regular 9-to-5 and still, having to worry about, making sure ends meet or making ends meet. And, how she hears that voice in your head. Well, that voice in her head saying, B, you better work, B. You better work, B. Show, you better go, show. No one's going to eat if you don't work. That sort of a thing. Right? But yeah, that's strange that she has that feeling. Perhaps maybe she was just being dramatic. Maybe she was like trying out for her next acting role. Maybe she was trying to petition for an Oscar. Maybe. Maybe she was just being a little extra with it. But if she wasn't, then that's not a good feeling to have, though. Like if you're in a situation, really just period, of course, but especially if you are in a situation where the resources are there, like her husband has the resources. So she shouldn't feel that way. But back to that stacking the money comment for a minute. So it looks like Dwayne Wade feels some sort of way about, oh, you get to save your money, but I'm spending my money, which I don't think is completely just out of left field. And I don't think that Dwayne Wade and his sentiments are out of the ordinary or in the minority or the extreme minority. But I also feel like the comment could come off as a little bit like a little competitive and a little comparative. But he wants to make sure that if this marriage were to come to an end, that he would be in a good place financially, right? Which, of course, everyone should make sure that that is their situation, that if the situation that they're in comes to an end, that they are in a good position where they can still, walk away. and be good and be set financially. But I think Dwayne, he feels like Gabrielle Union shouldn't be in that position at his expense, right? It's like, hey, if that's how you gonna be, then you gonna be working for it. Like he ain't gonna make it easy for her, basically. Which of course is a little strange considering he's the one who stepped out of the marriage and had an extramarital child outside the marriage. I guess that's a little bit redundant, but you know what I'm saying. Had a child outside their relationship or marriage. I'm not sure if they were married at that point or not. I don't really keep up with them like that, but they were in some sort of relationship, though, at least. And as well, he's probably getting got for child support with the woman who he had a child with outside of his relationship with Gabrielle Union. So he's in the mindset of, well, I don't want to get got anymore or get got for more money. So now it's falling on Gabrielle Union. And that leads me into the next part of my commentary, which is like, what's the benefit? Like, what's the payoff of all this for Gabrielle Union? Word on the street is Gabrielle Union was a home wrecker and also a mean girl by her admission. So really, this could low-key kind of be karma, especially if I know like the girls or the women who she was a mean girl to are, really liking this, right? Many people like it when bad things happen to bad people who did them wrong. All is right with the world, ain't God good, right? But, Gabrielle Union, she is rumored to have been a home wrecker, basically, and stole, quote unquote, Dwayne Wade from the previous woman that he was with. Gabrielle Union didn't have any children before her relationship with Dwayne Wade. Unlike Dwayne Wade, he came with quite a few children. Also, she is accepting of the extramarital child that Dwayne Wade has. Also, she is being a stepmom to all the children that Dwayne Wade has. She's going 50-50 and she's eating the groceries. Y'all know what I mean. And also probably doing some other strange things. So to do all this and then have to go 50-50, 50-50 and submission, because that's a part of it too. So you going 50-50 and submitting. Like, what's the point? What's the payoff? And then when the relationship ends, then some of these dudes don't want to be paying child support because it's like, oh, well, she make more than enough money. Like, people saying that with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. As if this is a child that she had from a previous relationship or marriage, which it's not. It's a child that you both have. So you both have to financially provide for the child. Interesting because, it was 50-50 during the marriage or during the relationship, but after that ends and it's talking about the kids, then it's all like 100%, 0%. Like, where did the 50-50 go? Where did that concept go? That went out the window. That 50-50-ish went out the window when the relationship or marriage ends. And then I know some people will come through and be like, well, at least she got a man. At least she got a husband. And then they'll even try to shame other women, especially black women, who speak out about it and saying like, oh, that's not a relationship dynamic that they want. And then gonna be all like, Oh, you gonna die alone, black woman. Oh, no one ain't gonna want you, black woman. Oh, winter gonna come for you, black woman. Oh. And to the whole, you know, passing away alone comment, dying alone comment, I'll say this. God has the final say. All right. God has the final say in that, because there are people who are married, who do have family, who do quote unquote die alone. No one there, no one checking on them, no one cares. So just because you married and you got family, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to die alone, quote unquote. And to an extent, we all die alone in the sense that, we ain't dying with people, right? It's usually one person, right? That was the argument that people put out when Kevin Samuels passed. Like, oh, we all die alone, right? But it wasn't like, that wasn't the rhetoric that Kevin Samuels and his followers were pushing when it came to black women. You see, the rhetoric changed when it was Kevin Samuels who died alone. Oh, winter's gonna come for you, but never mind them, but it's just coming for you, black woman. And I want to speak on that winter thing for a quick second, for just a quick second, right? And I really don't like to be bringing up Kevin Samuels' name like this, but it helps my argument. But regarding the winter is coming for black women comment that was being pushed and possibly still is being pushed, right? I'm going to put it like this. If winter is coming for black women, then the ice age has come for black men. Winter is just a season. Like, you can make it through a season of winter. And after you make it through that season of winter, then comes spring, right? But the ice age is an entire era. And I think black men need to be more concerned about the ice age that they are going through versus the winter that black women could possibly go through. Because just from my personal observation, like, I've been between cars, quote unquote, aka without a car, for a minute, and I've been using public transportation. And I'm just going to say, from what I've been seeing on public transportation, black men are out here looking bad. Not saying that there are no black women out here looking bad too, but definitely black men out here looking bad. Terrible. The struggle. I'm talking about alcoholics, drug addicts, homeless people, people who have mental disorders, whether diagnosed or undiagnosed, black men who need health care, like immediate health care. Black men getting caught up in the legal system, and etc. So I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thanks for watching. And again, I'll say that ultimately, whatever situation in your relationship that you have, it has to work for you and your partner. And if this truly is a situation that works for Gabrielle Union and Dwayne, and both parties are happy about it, then hey, more power to them. Hey, they like it, I love it. But if it truly isn't, then either they have to work it out or walk it out. But again, thanks a lot for watching and listening to my commentary. Please let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.